Hello everyone, welcome back. So, just got a good few questions asked on this particular video that I'm holding the SBR bond up. So I'll just go through them and answer them on the live stream and answer any other questions I get on the live stream. But if you're not watching this live and you want to ask away, and I can always make another live stream or another video and just answer it in the next video. So yeah, I'll just crack on with the questions. So first of all, Alexander said, do a little rendering around windows and doors, and my stuff looks good. So he's asking basically what do I use to get it smooth, and basically asked me how I finish it. So Alexander, I will be doing a video on finishing it, but you would straighten it. You'll put it on the hot and trowel, straighten it, and then you'll rub it with a float and sponge it up. You don't have to sponge it. If you float it well enough, that will work, that'll do. So you don't have to actually sponge it. If you're working around windows and doors, just make sure you clean them all up after. Just leaves a far tidier job. The homeowner won't want to be cleaning up after a lot of cement on their windows. But so that's sort of it answers that, and believe it or not, it will be answered a lot better in the next week, as I'm going to. And by the way, guys, all these questions are in the description. But I will be doing a video of me finishing the render, sand cement render. So I will. So Laura's life dog training and dog vlogs said, right, I have some questions. Why did this wall need this work in the first place? Why do you scratch the finish? Sorry, but this is a new skill to me, but I do want to understand. Thank you. So Sarah just recently subscribed to me. I've subscribed to her as well. She has a very good channel where she trains dogs, and when I actually get a German Shepherd again, I will definitely be going through all her videos and trying to make it very obedient. Most German Shepherds are quite obedient anyway, but you can always learn off other people, especially people that know. She'll know a lot more than me about dog training. So if anybody's interested in how to make your dog more obedient and learn a few tricks, definitely hit her channel up. It's in the description, like I said. So back to her question. She was asking, why did I scratch the finish? So Laura, this is the undercoat. I did answer the comment as well. There's still a couple of comments to answer too. This is just the undercoat. There's a top coat to go on this. Some people would say with the red brick below here, it's actually low suction. It doesn't have a very high suction where most red brick would. This brick has been hosed down, brushed down, hosed down at least twice, and I have SBR in my mix, which is another thing that I will be getting to in my mix ratio, which is later down on these questions. So the scratch, why did I scratch the finish of what I'm doing right now? It's called a key coat, scratch coat, and it's just a key. In all the books it'll say a mechanical key. Not really sure why it says mechanical, because anything to me mechanics moves, you know, like even a door, it's mechanical. It opens and shuts on a hinge. It's got movement. This is, to me, it should be called a structural key, you know. But all the geniuses call it a mechanical key. So this is a mechanical key which will allow your top coat to grip and bond and stick in better. I'll lock them together tight. And so that's why that's done. Why the job is done. The top half, as you can see, is brand new breeze block, and the bottom half still has a wee coping stone on it. It's just concrete, and below that coping stone you can see is brick. And the guy wanted it all to look the same. He wanted a bit more uniform. He didn't want black just rubbed up at the top and red bricks at the bottom. So technically the bricks didn't actually need plastered, it was just cosmetic, just for looks, but it probably will protect them a lot longer if he was ever to strip them all back again, which I doubt very much. So he just wanted everything to look the same colour. I think he will be painted, but not for years to come. Would be probably a nice job to have acrylic render on, especially the front, more so than the back, because the back's the back and the front's the front. Also, there was a couple of barn walls on down, and they badly needed rendered. As you can see, when I was brushing them, they were very crumbly. They had weathered poorly, let's just say. And at the very end of that barn, there was two panels that had been rubbed up, and believe it or not, they were in pretty good condition compared to the walls that were just left concrete block, cement block. So that they did need done, in my opinion, because that will strengthen them. It'll strengthen up that wall. Believe it or not, this coat of satin cement that I'm doing on this garden wall will strengthen it too, especially the top, where it's just built on this bottom wall is like a double cavity wall, and the top is just a single row block with some piers and nibs all the way up, giving it structural strength. But believe it or not, a coat of satin cement will, if you have a wobbly wall, I have seen a scud coat and a float coat make that wall, you would never have thought that wall ever moved beforehand, and I have seen it with my own eyes. I've done it. Lisburn Road, we're doing jobs, and all the plaster came off, and the walls to me, I thought had to come down, and the guy that I was working for, way more experienced than me, especially at the time, said scudded it, and the next day came in and the wall was solid as a rock. So it does show you what a wee coat of satin cement does. I have seen other jobs, very similar things done, where the wall, when the render was all took off, the plaster was took off, the wall seemed weakened, and the architects told them to strip it back and mesh the cracks and scud it, float it, skim it. And I didn't do any of that prep work. There was a guy in front of me who did that prep work, and he said the wall was wobbly, and after, it's not wobbly anymore. Hi Annie, she's just strapped into the live chat in case anybody watching this video later on thinks I'm crazy. So hi Annie, thanks for watching, thanks for the support, as always. So that's Laura's questions answered, I think. But like I said there, she's new to it. She's probably gonna try a couple of wee bits around her own house, and that's fine. Definitely start on things that are small, and if you are new, the only way you're going to figure out things is asking questions and trying them. You can read books until your heart's content, but you still need to get your hands dirty when it comes to plastering. It's definitely reading books is only one part of it, but you can put that to theory, and that's when you will learn your plastering, is in the theory of it. So the next guy asked me a question, and his name is very hard to pronounce, and it's in the description. It looks like Manju, but it's probably pronounced a lot better than that. And he asked sand cement ratio, and then he also asked me why no gloves on my hands. Probably did see the previous video where I was wearing gloves, and that's maybe why he's asking that question. And Peter Crown's asked me, do I rub up with a sponge in the live stream? Again, if anybody's watching this later on, I think you can look at the questions. They will pop up on your time, and you can see the questions being asked. I'm definitely not crazy, but some people might say others. But so I'll answer 2 seconds, Peter, mate, and I'll get to you after I answer Manju Bhatti's questions. So the sand to cement ratio I'm using at the minute is 3:1. It has some mortar mix in it, and it has some waterproofer in it, and it has SBR in it. The SBR is kind of like a waterproofer. The SBR bond, it is a waterproofer, but it's also a bonding agent. When you add it to your mix, I know a lot of guys hate it. When it sort of tightens up a bit, it's very sticky, and it will give you a wee bit more pain in your arms when you're playing on. You can rub up with it in the mix as well. I've done it, and it's came out very, very well, very solid. And again, guys hate rubbing up with the SBR in the mix, which is fine. It's definitely not easy to rub up with, and wouldn't really recommend it. Maybe on some garden walls that are holding up banks, and you want to try and hold the moisture back as long as possible and keep the wall solid. You might want to use it then, but it will be stickier to your float when you're rubbing up. So that's something to bear in mind. But why did I use the SBR? Well, on this front wall I had bits of concrete, bits of brick, heavy holes, concrete blocks as well, which are fine just to plaster straight over if they're fresh. And obviously the brick wall was my main concern of getting a good bond. So we added good bit of SBR through the mix. For some parts, SBR went in the top just for handiness, so I could just walk away from the mix, bring my bar around, just keep going. There's a wee slope put in that wall. There's no concrete on this wall. There was just a wee slight slope put on, and that was just to deflect the water away and down the wall and try and stop any old mossy build up and stuff. So I think the next question that the guy had as well was the rubber gloves. And rubber gloves, why was I not wearing my rubber gloves? My hands didn't actually get that dirty when I was doing this job. They didn't get too much sand cement on them. If you are new to plastering, I would recommend you wear rubber gloves at least for using sand cement. For using anything really. But gloves today, on this day, it was very, very hot. I actually soaked these walls down 2-3 times, and they were literally dragging by the time I came around them. So rubber gloves would have just sweated my hands and left them probably worse for damp anyway. I do have other black gloves that I was wearing, I think, in previous videos. So again, I probably should have been wearing gloves, some type of glove to protect my hands from anything, because it's better practice. Definitely, the guys giving me a bit of a telling off, I think, by asking me that question. But I don't tend to get too much on my hands, so don't need to worry about it. And sand cement will wash off your hands, but again, I should practice what I preach, and I would recommend you wear gloves with more or less all plastering jobs, especially gloves that can protect you from cuts, scrapes, and then also from the plaster itself that can burn into your hands and make them like the likes of what Peter's asked me, the likes of acrylic, which can be hard to get off your hands if you're not wearing gloves. So that would be a nightmare. So now I'm going to go to Peter Mooring, and he was also telling me off for my scratch coat. He was telling me I should have scratched it wavy up and down, and the theory of scratching wavy, guys, with I'm doing it, you can watch right now, nice straight lines. So he would rather have wavy up and down. So the theories that I've been told by other plasterers is that, also what he says in the comment, is that it's less likely to crack, and they think that it's less likely to crack when it's wavy because, believe it or not, you are staggering a joint. Bit like the way the blocks are built, everything brickworks, brick, plasterboard, stagger. When you stagger joints, you break up the pattern of a big straight line. It's less likely to crack. So when you do this wee wibbly wobbly zigzag, it staggers your scratch coat joint. but will that mean it won't crack? Nope. I have seen it crack. I have seen it blow off. I have seen it getting damp. I've seen everything with it. And the other reason I haven't zigzagged, that's not really the reason why I didn't zigzag it. Just basically, it's the way I was taught. We never did it when I was an apprentice. And the plasterer I worked for was probably still to this day the best plasterer I've seen. And I've worked for other plasterers too that also scratch the exact same way, but they did change slightly with their scratching tool. What's up, acrylic boy? There's a guy there for acrylic render. He is a fantastic plasterer when it comes to acrylic as well. He's also on the live chat up in the corner, or wherever it may be if you're watching this later on. So the other reason it didn't do zigzag is because the scratcher, scarifier, whatever you want to call it, the scratching tool, my teeth are closer together on it. And I'll come to this as well, why I have adopted to use this scratcher over the Rambo tools type. So the teeth are closer together, so if I zigzag, all that will happen will be all the lines will touch, and that's a plaster or render will be coming off, and I'll be trying it all again, and I'll be starting again. And I will demonstrate this again on a video just to show you what I'm talking about, and I'll highlight this video in at this time maybe. Serrated edges on cement. Glenn's asked me a question as well. 2 seconds, Glenn. So also the difference in the two scratchers. The Rambo Tools type of scratcher, if you type in Rambo Tools scratching tool, you'll find it, and you'll see it. It's a white handled one. It is good. I've used them, but the better ones to me are the ones that are slightly close together. To me they give better grip, better mechanical key, as all the books would tell you. To me, the Rambo Tools one, even if you do a zigzag, the gaps between the scratches are just too big. The best scratching tools I've ever came across and ever used are homemade scratchers. They're homemade tools, believe it or not. Which this has got a square edge on it. The best scratchers I've seen, again, my old boss used to make them, probably out of like an old cooker grill or something that holds up your cheese toasties. They're rounded edges and gives a slightly nicer scratch, a wee bit deeper. But you don't want to scratch all the way through to the block either. Otherwise you're just cutting the render off. But I do like the scratcher I'm using. I think that's a Refina, if anybody's wondering. I think Refina also have a couple of different types, ones that do narrow in, which would be closer to that homemade one I was talking about, which is very, very good as well. So that's from my mate Peter, who is an old school plasterer, guys, as well. He's got a lot of good videos coming up there that I've noticed about bug outs. If anybody likes their camping and is afraid of zombie apocalypses, he's got the channel for you, or whatever. It doesn't need to be zombie apocalypse. Like it could literally be a lack of electric, the shops losing power, and nothing else to eat. He's got a lot of videos I've noticed. I'm gonna have to catch up on all his videos. I kind of like watching all them nerdy types of videos. He also's got lots of other videos if you're trying to run a business. So I'm gonna jump to Peter Cohen. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, buddy. But I am dyslexic, so bear that in mind. So anyway, so he's asked me any thoughts on acrylic renders, K-render, and whatever. Last time we talked, I was saying I've only ever done internals, but I love render. And he's also telling me about his rubber gloves. I'm sure everybody can see that what I'm reading, I hope. So yes, I was meant to do a job with V-cuts out, and the guy just opted to paint, believe it or not, unfortunately. That would have been a nice job with the acrylic with my buddy just up his street. Me and him did his own. Not sure if you've seen that video, Peter, of the V cuts with acrylic render. It was videoed from a phone. It was on his house, and it was still good quality, like on the phone. So not sure if you've seen it, but if you want, you can search away on the channel for, I think it's called acrylic render with V cuts. Yeah, check it out. That's the only one I think I have at the minute. No, I do have another one as well. Actually, I tell a lie. I think it's a before and after of a big garden wall that was done, like a big round on it now. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get a few more acrylic render videos up. I know RFW he's killing it at the minute with all his renders. He's got lots of info up of how he does it. He does it slightly different than the way I do it, but it's working. I think he did a test video as well, testing of how waterproof it is. So again, another good channel, guys, for plastering. Knows lots, does lots. And again, for acrylic, I'm sure you've found them, Peter, yourself. Plenty of videos on. But yeah, hopefully in the future I can get a few more of them jobs on. K-Rend, I have lots of K-Rend jobs on. Well, that were scratched out when we're straightening it up. That's the K-Rend. When I say K-Rend, I always talk about the monocouche finish, which is the scratched finish people would know it as, that way. So yes, and Peter also asked, do you rub up with a sponge? Yes, I'll straighten my wall, then I'll rub it with a float, and then I'll give it a light sponge. Again, you don't have to rub up with a sponge. Lots of guys don't. Lots of guys don't rub up with a sponge. You can also rub up the wall, trowel the wall, then sponge it. Will give you a smoother finish, slightly smoother finish. Draw the moisture out too. Some people won't like this. I don't particularly like it myself, and I think it just puts a bit too much tension on the surface. But depending on what you're doing, I was talking about them sort of barn walls earlier. They were crumbly, and they took a scratch coat and strengthened right up. SBR is definitely the way to go. Funny enough, actually, there was painted block on this as well. See this big wall here I'm looking right at now? That was painted breeze block, and I used the SBR in that scratch coat, guys. Also, that was painted. That was like smoother block work. It was very smooth. Yes, buddy. It's the SBR is definitely getting more popular. And probably giving them a hell of a shout out here too. I think that the stuff I'm using on this particular video was Larson. Very, very expensive, but if in doubt, pour the SBR out into your mix and get it on. So to me, you were never going to get the paint off these blocks here. I actually, believe it again, I've deleted footage. I did have footage of them walls when they were painted block, and now I don't. Somehow I keep deleting my videos before I get them uploaded. I think what I'm doing, I said this before on a video, but what I'm doing is I'm coming on, I'm saving them, and sometimes, because I'm trying to keep up to date with my videos, trying to get them onto the computer quicker, what I'm doing is I have to, what I've learned is I have to rename the videos. The videos will save as 0001, 0002, all the way up to whatever, 100, you know, maybe 1,000. That's probably why there's 4 zeros, probably goes up to 1,000. And what I was doing was, it was popping up on my computer screen saying, this is the same video, do you want to skip or do you want to replace it? So I was just clicking skip, and then I was deleting all the stuff off my camera. But what was happening was, then when I was recording again, it was the new recordings were coming up as 001, 002, all the way up again. And when I went to save them, that's when I noticed what I had done, and I had deleted footage which I cannot get back at all. So that's me buggered on them footages. But anyway, but cheers, Peter, buddy. yeah, I'm full of info at the minute here. I think it must be the good sun. But like I said, there will be more rendering videos coming up. Lots more. Lots more. So also, yes, I completely forgot ratios. People were asking me on this original video what my ratio is. So it's hard to get talking to the SBRs. One thing leads to another. But basically, the ratio for my scratch coat, I go with 3 to 1. Read all your additives, guys. Read your mortar mixes, your plasticizers, your waterproofer, your SBR. Read their tolerances. A lot of people don't know, but if you put too much mortar mix in, it'll kill your cement, and you'll end up with dust for a wall. If you don't put enough in, your stuff will dry out quicker. It could crack, could shrink. More likely not, but it could. And also, it'll be harder to apply. It won't have any body. Plasticizer will allow you to use less water. And if you know anything about concrete, I know sand cement's not concrete, but let's just talk about concrete for a second. If you know loads about concrete or anything about concrete, the less water you use, the stronger it'll be. Also, another thing is the slower it takes to set, the stronger it'll be. So it's just food for thought, guys. The same will apply to your sand cement, believe it or not, because concrete and sand cement have the same sort of properties that way. So yes, 3 to 1 undercoat, 4 to 1 top coat, and that would be on most of the jobs that I do, especially just over block. And I hear people saying 3 to 1's too strong, and 4 to 1's too strong, that they scratch with 4 to 1 and float with 5 to 1. That's fine if it works for you. Keep on going, guys. And if you do happen to read the back of your SBR and your waterproofers and all that, see if you're doing a big job or any job, it says on the back of it that it can vary, that things can vary. So they cover their arses left, right and centre by saying this. So they're basically saying one drum might be slightly weaker than the other drum, one drum might be stronger than the other drum. Weather might affect your sand cement, of course it will. The sun drying out too quick can affect it. Frost will affect it. Rain will wash it off the wall. So all these things, heavy rain obviously, drizzle on a warm day, perfect. But all them things will affect your sand cement. This is all obvious. And what it says on the back of most of them things is do a test patch, which is probably not a bad idea. Even if you pop 2 blocks up, spread a wee bit onto them. You don't want to mess up your wall. Give it a wee scratch and check it out next time. What's it like the next day, the day after it. Sand cement will take a good few days to obtain its full strength. So just bear that in mind before you start scraping at it. But you could certainly test out a few ratios and slap it on somewhere. If you're working the inside, you want to do the outside, you need some SBR, you need this, you need that. Test out 3 different mixes, slap it on a few eye blocks, give it a test with a hammer, see what you think, have a look at it. Is it cracking? Has it not set after 2 days? You know, all them things. Put them again. Take it off the paper and put it into the theory. So yeah, going good, boots. Definitely. So yeah, Bank Boy Stevens does the same as me. 5 to 1 for his pebble dash, which is fine. I know people use lime in their pebble dash more so than in their render and stuff, because it lightens up the sand cement, which is good as well. It's lime, yeah, it makes stuff fluffy, nice and fluffy, but there was a wall that needed chipped off, and I think what the guys did on that wall was too much lime, because parts of it just went to dust, just went crumbly. Also looked a very, very weak mix. So there's a happy medium, strong to weak, strong to weak. Have I rubbed up with 5 to 1? Yep, I sure have. Have I rubbed up? I think maybe I've went as far as 6 to 1 with sand and cement, and no problems. Obviously this is on bad shaped walls that are deep and stuff. Yeah. So Bank knows what I'm talking about. In fact, if you're in a tuning college, you'll possibly just be using lime mortar, lime and sand, and you'll be floating walls, and then you'll be skimming them, and then a day later you'll be scraping them all off. Maybe 2 days later you can still scrape them off. 3 days, it's still it's gonna just be dust. And you'll scrape it off, you'll clean down your wall, you'll PVA your wall. Now maybe you won't PVA your wall as much, but you'll wet it down and in the techs in the colleges, and you'll go again that way. But so generally the coats are 3 to 1 to 4 to 1. That way. So yeah, definitely SBR is popular at the minute. And somebody was saying that they use it for rubbing up as well. Who was saying? Sorry, I have to scroll up. Usually SBR comes up better. So you see, everybody does things different. But I don't know, Bank Boy, if you've noticed, but it does be a lot stickier. I tend to find the SBR kind of does tighten quick, but then just hangs as well. It'll be a lot stickier for the float and stuff as well. There was a special float I was trying to get my hands on. Some guy from here invented it. Told me he was gonna helium. Told me he was gonna send me out a few, and never did. So I'm not sure what happened. He was gonna send me out a couple of other tools, and I was gonna go mad and do mad demos and mad how-tos with these tools, and he never sent them. Told me he did, and never did. So I hope he's watching. But anyway, that's all up to him. It's new enough. It's new enough. I would say it's stronger than exterior SBRs, and that's a big statement. I would definitely say it's stronger than SBRs, than external PVAs. But it's very dear. For instance, $22.50 a tub of just 5 litres. So if you're doing a big job like this, you need 60 odd pounds worth of it. It can make or break a job, whether you get it or not. But if the next guy isn't going to use it, then he might come into problems. But again, you could just do it the old school way, bit of PVA, exterior PVA, and then scud that red brick, and then scratch it, and then float it, and give yourself a whole extra messy day of scud coating. But SBR can, but SBR can save you time. You can just go straight over the brick. So Bank Boy obviously use this stuff quite a lot as well. I think tailors use SBR for tanking systems. I'm not sure if I even read that on the back or not, or I've seen it on a tailing video, but I think they add it to their adhesives, and it also helps waterproof your shower areas and shower floors, stuff like that. You see it kind of goes blue when it hits the water and hits the cement a bit. It kind of goes blue, but that's fine. If you're going to paint it on, you can paint it on, scratch over it as well. Just like exterior PVAs. I heard guys saying if you paint it on, you must go over it when it's wet, and don't allow it to dry, which makes a lot of sense, because when SBR dries, I don't really think, if it's not still in a wet mix, I don't think it's going to be a good idea scratching over it, because that wall to me is going to be waterproof, and your stuff might slide, you might get problems. So definitely, if you're going to maybe do a big area, you might want to just sort of do parts, make sure it's still wet, make sure it all sets off together and bonds together and locks in. So yeah, Bank Boy definitely swimming pools used with that stuff. I would say they're probably adding it to concretes and stuff now too. It probably is just another type of PVA really. God knows how much seaweed it takes to use it, to make it, I don't know. But it is, to me, it's definitely, it's a way to go for certain jobs. But it's just another tool to have, guys, another material. Bit like in the inside, PVA's worked for years, and this abundant comes out. Had other plasters tell me it's been out for years. Yeah. Believe it or not, I have a wee taste of both in this here. A bit of waterproofer as well, and it's still top coat, still dry, lovely, just soaked in, and that was with me hosing it all down. But again, that's weather, that's the heat. Yeah, I know a lot of people won't even put waterproofer in their scratch coat in the winter because they want their top coat to actually soak in and tighten. But I know lots of people would always put a wee taste of waterproofer in no matter what. They might maybe cut down half the ratio when it comes to winter. I know people, when they're doing coins, stones and bonds, will actually scratch all them areas without any additives, sorry, not additives, any waterproofers in the corners, so that as well it bites in. Just another tactic. It's a good tactic, because you have to cut them renders off, so you know you're trying to, these people are obviously thinking ahead. Personally, I would want to lock everything in a bit more waterproof. As you know, breeze blocks aren't, they're very absorbent and moisture will get through that way. So I think I've got all the questions answered. Just double checking, I'll leave anybody out. But again, like, if I haven't, oh, I found one. Have I used a shredded edge? Where did I see that? Do I ever mesh with salt and cement? THBUK has asked me a couple of questions. Sorry, buddy, I'm only seeing them now. Yes, I, believe it or not, I have a video coming up with, when you're saying mesh, are you talking about if the block is cracked, do I mesh over it and then salt and cement? I'll do that with wire mesh. You can use fiberglass meshes too. I would recommend wire mesh, because it'll allow the salt and cement in that little bit more. That way. And I think you were also asking me, do I use a shredded edge? No, believe it or not, on this job I used the same edges that I used on the previous video, which is in the description as well. And I used something a wee bit different, and a couple of plasters disagree with me, and a couple don't. A couple that have their old school plasters don't disagree with what I was doing. I straightened the wall mostly with my 6-foot edge, feather edge, aluminium edge, which I think came from Faithful Tools, if I'm not correct, which is working great. So Faithful Tools definitely do, if anybody's looking good straight edges, that's a good company to look at, Faithful Tools. Do have a lot of cheaper tools, cheaper trowels, cheaper hammers, but they also have top of the range stuff as well. But if you are a plasterer like me and you don't want to spend big money on things that are going to get lost and broken, like tapes and cheaper sort of versions of things, they will have them too, but they'll also have the other high-end stuff like super good measure tapes that I have from them as well. So that's just another thing to look out for. Shredded edge, nope, I haven't used one. The idea with them is open up your render to let it dry, in my opinion. But to me, I can do that with a feather edge. But again, what this guy, and I can see his point on why he was disagreeing with me. On everyone does have different ways of doing stuff, and that's what my buddy Bank Boy's saying here. definitely you gotta always say this, and the other plasters say it too. Do what's working. You know, if it's not working and the job's coming up rubbish, you're not gonna get another job. Especially off them customers anyway. They're not gonna add you on to friends and families. So your work will dry up if you're not finished well. But shredded edges, they will work perfect. We job like this, if it wasn't so long, a shredded edge would be nice. I think we're fine to have shredded edges. So they will, like I said, it'll open up your render, help it dry, get you onto the float quicker, and rub it up quicker and get finished, get away home, back to the bar, wherever you're going. Sure, a lot of bars will be getting hit in this weather. Not sure if everywhere's getting this weather, but I know here Belfast is hot. Rubbing up outside, definitely trying to get all the outside jobs read up myself, bits and pieces. Have a wee pebble dash job coming up, which I've been threatening to make a video on. Definitely going to have to do that. I actually have 2 or 3 come up of small patch job, pebble dash jobs. But yeah, shredded edge, if you want to go and look at the wee edge I was using to strike these walls sidewards, not these walls, it was a different wee job, I was pulling it sidewards. So what these guys, well, this one guy in particular, he said that I was using a flexible straight edge to straighten the wall. But what he feels, in my opinion, fails to realise is that the sand cement is wet. The sand cement will move, and you know, not until it starts tightening will the bumps stay as bumps with a flexible straight edge. You gotta remember this stuff. I'm putting it on my top coat, I'm putting it on, and I'm straightening it straight away. Also, the other guy had another good point. He says, why you're locking it in smooth, you're holding the water in. Well, he actually thinks it was dragging the water out, but if you lock it in smooth, believe it or not, you can also be holding the water back, and it'll give you more time. This is all things that are going to be coming up in the next video, guys. So if you're getting bored, you can go on to bed, and you will catch these on another video. That's okay. But back to my point, if you can do it with a feather edge too. You can sort of lock your render in a wee bit, and it'll be smooth, and it'll give you a bit, to me, in my opinion, it'll give you more time, especially when you're rubbing up inside or something, you want to throw the whole room on. If you sort of flatten it all in again, it'll give you a bit more time. Try it on the back of a garden wall where you're not going to see, or a covered wall, and you'll see. Hit one wall, open it up, hit the other wall, get it straight, and then sort of flatten it into the back of your edge, and you'll see the difference of what way it rubs. And then you'll maybe not thinking as crazy for using that straight edge, but definitely give it a try. It's worth it. Try it on something that doesn't matter as much, or try it and scrape it off if you're not happy and start again. But it will work. Also, the other thing is, it is a flexible edge, but if you hold it at the right angle, you can still leave your render all open up. It will cut the render off. But I acknowledge the point that it's flexible, just not the point that I'm going to leave a bump on the wall. There's just no way that will happen. I won't leave something that's going to be seen and it's going to look like the button moon. So that's another thing to think about. The tools you use will either benefit you or hinder you. Like we were talking about Plastering and stuff, and believe it or not, we were talking also earlier on this live stream about acrylic renders, and believe it or not, the Plastering on acrylic render is quite nice to finish. It doesn't drag quite as much as a steel trowel, and I have been using a steel trowel for years and years, and I found if you use a plastic float or trowel to finish your acrylic, you could also finish it when it's a bit wetter, in my opinion. Also, I was talking about the Plastering with somebody on a loft. He was asking me what about the Plastering. Obviously with the contract I was on, I couldn't show any of the work I was doing, and can't still don't really want to talk about, because if the contract comes back up again around, I want back in. But yeah, so that's that, I think. But if anybody's wanting to ask any more questions, feel free to, on this video or the previous video or the previous video before it. And it's fine. I'll make another live stream and answer you up. I'll answer you in the comments. I'll phone you up and answer you. I'll call to your house and answer you. No, I won't. I'll answer you on YouTube. But anyway, guys, I appreciate all the questions. Definitely, you mix it up like skin. Oh yeah. Not sure what you mean, buddy, bank boy. The sand cement, or mix it up sand cement like skin. No, I use a belly mixer for the sand cement. It's just a wee mini mixer. It gives you a good ball, maybe 2 balls a mix, if you just get your measurements right. I like my render when I'm rubbing up a wee bit tighter. Scratch coat, I like it a wee bit looser, a wee bit wetter, just so I can slide it on easier. But yeah, again, any more questions, feel free to ask me, and I will do my best to answer you. If you ask me the lottery numbers, I'll try and answer, but I'll maybe get it wrong. Ask me about plastering, I'll more likely get it right. I'd almost bet my house on it. So guys, appreciate all the support and all the comments and all the banter. Thanks, and I will see you on the next video.